And this is what the digital minimalism movement is all about. It's about understanding how much these things have destroyed our attention, and then taking steps to decentralize and move away from that and use specific things for specific purposes, rather than letting this thing govern all of our digital life. So I don't use a smartphone for music anymore either, and I'm moving towards my own library system on a computer upstairs that I can stream to any of my devices. I can put those files on an iPod. I can truly live the intentional music thing in the room where I've got my best speakers, and they're only connected to an iPod. I can connect Bluetooth to them as well, but there is something very rewarding about just putting an album on an iPod and then coming away from it. So you can't skip tracks. You have to just sit down and just enjoy the album. And if you want to skip or change, you've got to get up off the seat and go and do it. That in itself is hugely rewarding. It makes you appreciate the music more. So this kind of approach applies to all of these areas. Photography is so much more rewarding when you use a proper camera. Music is so much better when you sit down and enjoy it. And then computing, I use laptops when I do real computing. I think sort of thinking you can do stuff on a smartphone, you end up just doing it all the time with one hand. It's this inferior way of doing things that should be done on a computer. And we just fall for it because of the convenience. And then there's gaming, of course, sort of moving away from thinking of the phone as a thing to play games on, and actually just getting an Xbox controller and then a subscription to Xbox Live and doing that on the telly, which is a 55-inch OLED, on the comfortable sofa. This is the better experience for gaming when I have a bit of time for gaming. So once you take all of those things out of the equation, what you're left with is a set of requirements from the smartphone, which were met 10 years ago by smartphones. It's things like sort of Bluetooth connectivity, like I said, to connect to my watch here. These are genuinely useful things. We have a sort of Bluetooth bridge between another device and the internet or some other sort of source of data or hardware. So things like my slider I use for the B-roll, put the camera on, that is controlled by the smartphone. Paying for parking in car parks, it all uses an app. There is this benefit to having sort of an app ecosystem in small pocketable computing devices, and I think that is the role of these things. And I think then once you sort of leave the line there, then you realize you actually don't need anything like this constant upgrade cycle of modern phones. They were good enough years ago. The only reason we have to change now is because some of those app developers stopped supporting those old hardware. They're sort of arbitrary decisions made by the developers, which is a little bit annoying, but I think we're probably operating at about a 10-year lifespan for this kind of thing, so I can kind of make my peace with that.